I'm Kirsten, the problem solving teacher and Teachers Pay Teachers author. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell down below, and leave a comment. It helps other teachers just like you find me on YouTube. Today we are going to be talking about goal setting tips to support your dreams. Entrepreneurs are driven by the dream of a successful business. We have to set goals to help our businesses grow, and we have to work hard to become the person that can run a business the rest of the world might take notice of. So, what does a solid goal look like? We're going to talk about good goal setting tips that can help us achieve our dreams. The way I learned goal setting was from gymnastics. When I was 8 years old, maybe even a little younger, I saw some of the older girls doing cartwheels on beam. I decided that I wanted that skill. I wanted a cartwheel on beam, and I worked hard on it, like really hard. I did hundreds of cartwheels on the low beams. I used masking tape on my parents' living room rug to create a balance beam to work on cartwheels. I ruined the rug. And I just practiced beam so much, I still turn the curbs and anything else into a balance beam. I still practice beam everywhere. So when we have a goal and it's something we really want, we chase after it with a passion. But sometimes our goals are not completely passion driven. They are things we want, but we weigh the time and cost of our desire and back out. We decide it's too much. And that's why it's important to help ourselves do a better job of achieving our goals. What are good goal setting tips? Goal setting is when you decide on something you would like to happen or stop happening, and you come up with a plan to achieve that. Not a wish, not a dream, not a hope, a plan. It can be hard to know where to start or how to start setting a good goal. Good goal setting tips are what will help you achieve a goal. So I have 10 goal setting tips for you. These tips should fill in any gaps in your goal setting knowledge. I know teachers have goal setting knowledge, but there's probably some gaps, because as I learned these, I was like, oh, I didn't know that before. So we're going to get into some specific detail to help you better set better goals for your business. First, this is going to be a shocker, pick a goal. You must decide what you are going to be working on and working towards. What do you want the end result to be? Picking a goal can be tough if you don't have something in mind already. So, some tips for picking a goal. It should have to do with who you want to be. Who you want to be. It should have to do with where you want to go in life. It should have to do with something that inspires you, something that you are passionate about. It should be something that you can control or work on. It can't be something that will be determined by parents, spouses, work environment. Like, it has to be something that you can control. It should be realistic. All right, next, you need to write down your goal. You've probably heard of SMART goals before. SMART goals are an outline of how to write down and consider the details of a goal. It's not the only way to write a goal, but a lot of people find it helpful. So SMART, it's an acronym. So SMART, S is specific, M is measurable, A, in my research, I found 3 different possibilities for what you can call A, okay? I think they all make sense, so I'm going to tell you all 3. Attainable, achievable, actionable. I think all 3 of those make sense. R is relevant, T is time-based. So we're going to go through each one in a little more detail. Specific means that your goal should be detailed enough that you know when you achieve it. It shouldn't be like, wait, is it done now? Okay. It doesn't leave questions about what you mean. So what are the goals that I'm going to set for my family in 2023 is that my goal is to have our son spend 1,000 hours outside. I will be pretty close with him. might be a little bit less than him. My husband will be far behind, but I think that if all of us are spending more time outside, it's going to be a great goal. When we hit 1,000, we are going to know that it is done. Measurable is a way that you know you completed your goal. When I was doing cartwheels on beam, I had to do 10 in a row on the lowest beam to move up to the medium beam. Then on the medium beam, I had to do 10 in a row. Like, I could not fall off, or I had to start at 1. And then I could move up to the high beam. My coaches told me once, because then I worked for them, they told me that my cartwheels on beam were, I like kicked around the side a lot, so they gave me a really hard number to work on to be able to move up a beam because they were worried about my safety. But I saw it as a realistic goal, achievable goal, a number that I could count, and I worked hard on it. So, and I never hurt myself doing a cartwheel on beam. So, you know, probably paid off. I had a number though. It was a way to measure if I was ready to go on to the next one. And they weren't like sitting there counting. They trusted me to count it myself. But it gave me a way to measure. And for the 1,000 hours outside goal that in 2023, we're going to like mark our hours on a paper. Like, we're going to keep track. So I thought that was pretty, it's a great way to measure. Attainable, achievable, actionable are grouped together because they're, depending on what you read, any of them could be listed for A. Be sure your goal is something that you can do and something that you can take action and start working on. Again, it's not going to be caused by somebody else. You are going to do it because it's you. If a goal isn't relevant to you and what you are, you probably won't achieve it. So make sure that your goal is relevant, because if you're trying to achieve somebody else's goal, why would you chase after it if it's like a super hard thing? Time-based basically means that you have a deadline to meet. So I didn't have a deadline for my cartwheel goal as a young gymnast, but the 1,000 hours outside, obviously that ends on December 31st, 2023, because it's going to be a goal for the year. All right, number 3 is to make a plan to achieve your goal. Now you have a goal, you have really like detailed how you're going to write it out. Now you need a plan for how you're going to make it happen. Most goals can be broken down into smaller steps, milestones. These smaller steps can help us see how close we are getting to achieve our goal and help keep us motivated. It's motivating to complete one step, cross something off your list, and help us get started on the next step. Number 4 is obstacles. No goal is easily achieved unless you didn't really need a goal to do it. There are going to be obstacles that stand in your way. Some obstacles are big and some are small, but they will interfere with your goal. Make a list of possible obstacles you might face. In my last teaching job, we did Genius Hour, and the teacher I worked with, who was amazing, she would have her kids, every teacher ran their Genius Hour differently, but she would have her kids make a list of the obstacles they would face as they tried to achieve their goal in their Genius Hour. And it helped them anticipate the problems, it reduces the frustration, and it can also help you figure out a way to overcome the obstacles that you might face. And since you know you're going to be facing obstacles, they're not so hard to overcome. Doesn't mean they aren't hard to overcome, but you feel a little more hopeful about it. All right, number 5 is a mentor or a coach. Do you know someone who has a similar experience with a goal like yours? Ask that person to help you out. You can take time to talk with each other and get advice from them. Go over coffee, talk on the phone, just... You know, when I have a friend who wants to start Etsy business, and she was telling me about all of these different things she was trying to do, and because of my experience with TPT, I was able to give her some really good solid advice on things to look at and try. All right, next, make a schedule. If you don't make time to work on your goal, then you won't achieve your goal, right? Like, if you never work on it, it's never going to happen. Take time out of your weekly schedule and calendar. Look for time slots where you can work on your goal and add them into your schedule. No excuses. Visible. Put your goal where you can see it every day. The more exposure you have, the better you will do. Some people use phone screens, computer screens, mirrors, places in the kitchen that you often look. See your goal, read your goal over and over and over. Tell people. This is probably one of the scariest steps of setting a goal. Telling people about your goal makes it real. Have you ever been hesitant about telling a friend about a side project you're working on? It makes the goal more real and the stakes of achieving or failing go up. Like, once you tell people about it, you do not want to fail at it. Number 9, goal check-in. Don't just keep working on your goal mindlessly. Set a time for your goal to check in. A goal check-in is a time when you read your goal again and make sure it is still relevant, because things change, life changes. If something else changes in your life, your goal may need to change too. Maybe the goal doesn't apply to your situation at all anymore. If you don't take time to check your goal, then you might never achieve it. Finally, number 10 is celebrate. There are so many goals in a TPT business. When you achieve something, celebrate it. All right, so I have for you, and if you go to my show notes, you can find them, some good goal setting tips, sentence frames. As teachers, we usually hear sentence frames for very beginning writers and for English language learners. Having goal setting tips can help you attack your goals better. If you are looking for a good way to write down your goal, this is what the sentence frame is for. So you can go to my show notes, or you can listen to this a whole bunch of times. I will insert your goal here by insert your date here. I will do this by completing, insert numbers here, steps in my goal plan. How many steps are in your goal plan? 5, 20? Doesn't matter how many, but get your steps. I will work on these steps every, insert your days and times here. Okay? This goal setting frame is going to, it's basically a SMART goal organized for you. The work done, you just have to insert the blanks. Okay? All right, I hope these goal setting tips were really helpful for you and that you can get ready for your goal setting. Also, I have to take a moment to celebrate one of the goals that I've had. This is my 100th episode of YouTube. This is my 100th YouTube episode, which is super exciting. I can't believe that I've made it to 100 episodes when I literally just started recording talking about my business. So, thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for subscribing. I hope that you guys have an awesome day.